Hi, my name is Bill Buchanan. I'm a state temple and family history consultant. I have served 3 missions in family search support, and I am a member of the Spruce Grove Ward. And I appreciate the bishopric asking me to give this presentation. Firstly, the question might be asked, what is family search? Family search is a business name used by the Family History Department of the Church for the services it offers to the public. And the website, familysearch.org, is the only website where you can prepare names for temple ordinances and print ordinance cards to take to the temple. And here we see multiple menus. There's a family tree menu that gives us various ways of looking at the family tree. There's a search menu that allows us to search historical records, images, the family tree, genealogies contributed by various people, family search catalog, thousands of digitized books, and the research wiki, which is a good first stop when you're looking for how to get information about a particular country or geographical area. And certainly memories, where we can add photos and stories, audio clips and so forth to help our family get to know previous generations. Indexing, we will look at more specifically. There are various family activities and things that you can enjoy there that are good for family in the evening. Okay, now we come to the temple. And here we can look at our temple reservations, ordinances we've shared with the temple, completed ordinances completed in the last 2 months, and ordinances ready. As I said, back in the 1960s, it took months to get a card to take to the temple for one of your deceased relatives. Now with ordinances ready on either on your cell phone or on the website, you can easily get baptism or confirmation cards, initiatory cards, endowment card, sealing to parents card, sealing to spouse card, depending what ordinance you want to do when you go to the temple next time. I'm going to click on endowment. And I immediately recognize this name. I know exactly how he connects to me. I could learn more about him by clicking there. I could go to his page by clicking there. If I didn't know who he was, then I probably would do that. If I want to print a card to take to the temple, I would click this button and it would print off a card that I could take to the temple to do the endowment for my relative, Daniel Potts. Now, the key that makes all of this work, well, I guess the big key is the Family Search website itself, but Family Search indexing is a major key. We're going to watch a couple of short videos, a 2-minute video that explains what it is, and then an 8-minute video showing how to do it. And we'll proceed to there now. Hopefully you'll be able to see this.
The major events of your ancestors' lives have likely been recorded and preserved on paper for hundreds of years. These records are probably hidden away in government archives or church basements. Family Search has been working since 1894 to preserve these historic records against damage or loss so that people like you can discover the story of their family's history. To do this, Family Search stores a photographed copy of these records in a safe place where the effects of time no longer damage records. Billions of records are currently stored on microfilm, and now Family Search is collecting and storing images in digital form. Millions of these records are also now published online for everyone to freely access. Pictures are nice, But to really be helpful, the information in these images needs to be searchable by computer. This is accomplished through a process called indexing, and it's something computers can't do. Thankfully, hundreds of thousands of volunteers, young and old, are already coming to the rescue. In just minutes at a time, they read the digital images and type the information they see. FamilySearch then saves the information in a freely searchable online database called FamilySearch.org. Now millions of people can easily find their ancestors thanks to the efforts of people just like you. That's great, but guess what? The digital images are stacking up faster than the current indexers can handle. More helpers are needed now. With your help and the help of your family and friends, the monumental task of making the world's historic records searchable online will be accomplished. Will you help make a difference? Well, you can by becoming an online volunteer indexer today.
Okay, that explains what indexing is. Now we're going to see some instruction on how it's done.
Hi, thanks for coming. I get approached by people all the time who tell me, I think family history is important, I really want to be a part of it, but I don't love the research aspect. So is there anything that I can do to be involved in family history without actually doing the research? And my answer is yes. And the number one thing that I recommend is getting involved in indexing. So let's explore what is indexing, how do you do it, and I will even walk you through how to get started with indexing so that you can do indexing today. If you have never heard of indexing before, let me explain a little bit about what indexing is. It is the process of taking records that have been digitized and extracting important information like names and dates and places. This makes it so that we can search records that we haven't been able to search before. So when you search a website like FamilySearch or Ancestry and you type in your ancestors' names and records come up, those records come up because they've been indexed. There are thousands of records, though, that have yet to be indexed. And the more we index, the more likely we are to find our ancestor in various kinds of records. So let's get started exploring the FamilySearch website, and I will take you on a tour of how to begin indexing.
Okay, the first thing that you want to do is log into your free FamilySearch account. If you have not set up an account with FamilySearch, I am going to include the link for FamilySearch's video instructions on how to set up an account for free with FamilySearch. After you've logged in, you'll see that there are a lot of drop-down menus at the top. Make sure you click on Indexing, and let's go to the Overview. And this is the main page that tells you about some of the projects that they have and the importance of indexing, and you can find those resources on this page. Another page to be aware of is the help resources, especially if you are just getting started and you have never done indexing and have some questions. They have some great resources for people who are starting. If you're wanting to be an indexer, you should click on the indexing menu, and guided tour is one of the best ways to learn about indexing because you're actually practicing on an example project. So you can start your tour and it will lead you through a series of steps in indexing this sample image. So you'll answer questions like, should this image be indexed? And it will give you some guidance on how to answer that. Then you actually get to practice. So it will ask you to type in the given names, for example, on this. So the given names are the first and the middle names. So don't forget that, because if you do and you just type in Holmes for the first name, you'll get a little more guidance and you'll be asked to double check the information. It will even show you the answer to help you in your learning. So Family Search wants as many records digitized and indexed as they can get, and they want it done right. And so they are so great at guiding you through this process. So let's just quickly go through this example. We'll type in Quincy. The surname is Miller. You can find that here in the document. Then it asks about the residence town. So this is Savannah. And the county is Chatham. And then the resident state. So they will have different instructions for different places for you to fill out. So one common exception to the type what you see rule is when place names are abbreviated. So click the question mark to learn how to index Georgia. So this tells us to type the resident state that was recorded. Do not correct spelling or expand abbreviations. Do not index punctuation, except hyphens and apostrophes. Occasionally, the residence, county, and state were written out of order. Be careful to index the places of residence in the correct field. So you can follow the instructions here that say, do not correct spelling or expand abbreviations. So you would simply put GA, no punctuation. Birth month, make sure that you are looking at this information here. And it is July 17th, 1900 is the birth date. So July 17th. Birth year is 1900. Birth town or county is Spencer. And it was in North Carolina. And then if there's another page, you would add a second entry. This one only has one though. So you can just go ahead and submit your batch. They will check for quality and let us know that there were no issues, and then we can submit. And that is how you would index your first batch. So let's go to web indexing and find a batch of our own. So if you want to find batches, you can just click here. If you're just starting out, it's a good idea to look for some beginner batches to work on. Let's see, here we've got some New York County naturalization records. You can just click Start. It will give you some information on the project that is specific for what you will be indexing. So each batch contains up to 10 images. So that's important to keep in mind if you're adding images before you submit your entire batch. So this will give you instructions. Make sure that you read through those. And it will ask you if these images should be indexed. So this is basically how you get started with indexing. And indexing is a great way for you to contribute to the genealogy community by helping make these records more accessible to everyone. So rather than sorting through all hundreds, thousands of digitized images page by page, you are working to create this index that is so helpful for people who are researching their family history. And so I hope that you have a great time when you do your indexing. You can find a lot of interesting information as you do that. So if you do come across something interesting, please feel free to share that in the comments below and share some of your experiences. And happy discovering!
Okay. Let's take a look at the family tree. Oh, first let's take a look at indexing. Sorry, to sort of view the connection there. Indexing, as you see, is a matter of copying specified information into a data entry form on the side of your computer screen. And when that whole project, which might be a census, might be immigration records, might be birth records, but a whole project may include millions of records on individual people. Okay, in this specific instance here, we see where there's a Joseph Dewey referred to in the original document. And when the project is finished, part of the process is to create these historical record hints. Now, it used to be back in the day that you needed to write letters and buy copies of official records to research your family. Now these records come looking for you as record hints on the family tree. As you attach these hints to become official documentation of your pedigree. Okay, and here we see that Family Search has associated this index on the left, this document on the left, with the record in family tree for Joseph B. Dewey, born in 1808, died 1883, and having this particular ID number in the Family Search database, married in 1820 in the United States to Maria Rani and so forth. Okay, we are going to take a look on a mirror site that looks just like Family Search, Family Tree, except instead of the usual things there, we have the word beta at the beginning. This is a test site, which means that I can mess with it all I want, and I'm not messing with anybody's real data. Okay, in this instance here, we see me, my wife, my parents, but my Buchanan line is missing beyond my father. So what do I do? Okay, I can click Add Father. Fortunately, I know my grandfather's name. And capitalization doesn't matter in a search form. He is a male, he is deceased. He was born in 1874 in Ontario. I have to spell it right. Canada. Okay, we're going to look for my grandfather and see if he is in the family tree. Whoops, I have been timed out by the system, which just delays things by a minute or two. Fortunately, the family tree recognizes the geographical abbreviations. Okay, it's looking for, oh, hey, it says a possible match is found. William Andrew Buchanan, born 24th October, 1874, Listowel, North Perth, Perth County, Ontario, died 1948, Wetaskiwin, Alberta, married to Elizabeth Jane Watson, and so we will add that match. And we're going to select the couple. We want not just my grandfather, but my grandfather and my grandmother. And look what happens. Okay, there they are. And did they bring any ancestors with them? We hope they did, and they did. Super. Okay. Now, I mentioned these blue hints, which basically are links to official records that can prove my pedigree, or at least some points of my pedigree. In this instance, let's take a look at this record for my grandmother. Okay, Louisa Ellen Ing, one Louisa Ellen Wright. And this was, if we go to her record, when we click on sources, okay, here's the find a grade index. We can quickly add 1986, which is the year that Grandma died. And we can add notes and so forth. I'm trying to keep this part fairly short so that we can focus on indexing. Okay, so you've seen how indexing leads to the official record hints for the historical records, and how these can be attached to an individual and then become an official source documenting that person's life and relationships. Okay, let's go back to indexing, and this time we'll go back to the actual family history site. Okay, this one will do. FamilySearch.org. Now, if I want to do indexing, I can go to the official page. Let's get back to Family Search, indexing, web indexing, or find a project, either one will work. And I have some batches or batches already downloaded, but those are advanced level batches. Let's see what we've got. She suggests in the film that we look for a beginning level batch. At the present time, there aren't any. And when I'm looking for a new project, I'm realizing that it's going to take me probably an hour and a half to familiarize myself with the rules for that particular project and actually indexing a batch in that project. I'm going to try and search very carefully to find something that looks like it would be suitable for me. I generally look for something that's legible, understandable, and that I feel that I should be indexing. The one I'm going to suggest to you, okay, what happened to it? Here we go. United States enlisted and officer muster rolls and rosters. And the reason I'm suggesting this as a starting one is because most pages are printed, so very legible. And it requests basically minimal information on each person. And to make it larger or smaller, I can click these. One key piece of information on this particular page is October 31st, 1933. Okay, the first person we're looking at is Stephen S. Kaczewski. Yes, this page should be indexed. This particular example is a poor one because generally this project is very, very legible. This is kind of blurry, but anyways, we'll start. Surname is Kasuski. And note that that it automatically capitalizes the first word. Given names, Stephen S. Military months, this is where we go to that October at the top of the page. Military day was the 31st. 1933 was the year. There is no birthplace given on these documents, so we mark that by either clicking on the X up here, which marks that field as blank, or since I'm a keyboard person, Control B if I'm using Windows, Command B if I'm using Mac to mark them as blank. In the same way, if I can't read it, I can mark it as unreadable by using Control U for unreadable. Okay, the next person is Logan C. Berry. It looks like. Surname is Berry. And now, since these are all on the same page, I can use the ditto feature to ditto the military month, military day, military year. So I hold down the Control key, I press D for ditto, October 31st, 1933. Birthplace and age are blank, but it will ditto the blank as well. So once it is set up, it goes fairly fast. A lot of the pages or batches in this particular project have a lot fewer names on than what this one does. This one has probably more than any I've seen, but that's okay. It doesn't take very long to do each one. You'll notice over here that the data entry template is set for 40 records. With this particular project, that will almost never be correct. Fortunately, you can delete the extra if there are a bunch of blank ones left at the end of the page, at the end of the batch. You can click this and it can either use it to delete the current entry or all blank entries. And all blank entries is something I use a lot. On the other hand, if you get to the bottom of the screen and you're on entry 40 and there is no entry 41, generally at the bottom of the screen, it will allow you to create an additional one by clicking a link there. If not, you can click this icon here to add additional lines for additional people or records for additional people. And at the end, you will have a link that allows you to submit batch. You can also do it here. I mentioned that when you're looking for a new project, just like when you're looking for a new car, you may have to check out a few of them before you find the one you like. And if you download a batch and decide that, oh, I don't understand this, or I can't read it, or whatever, you can send it back. So in that case, you would click return batch, and it would be sent back to Family Search, and it would go out to somebody else who might be looking for that exact sort of page. What else? One other thing is too, it gives you 6 days or 7 days to complete the batch. In this case, this one page with all these names on it. And if I don't get it finished in that time period, then it's returned to Family Search, and somebody else who's indexing this project will get that page. Oh, the first several names are already in. I can just sort of skip through that and carry on from there. And as I've done indexing, occasionally I come across batches like that. Oh, the first half of this batch is done by somebody else, but their effort is not wasted. It's there, it's in the system. I'll just carry on from where they left off. So please, I appeal to you, try to set yourself a goal of doing a little bit of indexing every week. And the indexing that I do will probably never have the names of any of my relatives on. You know, in the case of these people here, I'm probably not a close relative to any of these, but other people are doing indexing, and some of them are indexing records that my relatives, like my grandmother, are on. And when those projects are finished, those blue record hints pop up on my family tree. And so I'm helping others with their research. Other people are helping me with mine in a very nice way to do it. So I'm urging you to do some indexing, attach any blue record hints on your family tree that will help you to document your family members, to basically prove your pedigree. And please, please attend the temple for your deceased family members. Help Christ to redeem them. That is the purpose of what we are doing. And I leave this thought in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.